Super Tuesday recap. Is Chris and Deepom here. And we're here with our dual review and recap of Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow this week. Arrow is up first. We got Season 5, Episode 5, titled Human Target. When Tobias Church captures and tortures one of Oliver's new recruits, Oliver must turn to an old friend, Christopher Chance, a.k.a. the Human Target, for help. Meanwhile, Felicity's worlds collide when Detective Malone joins the ACU. We'll get into Legends of Tomorrow after this. But we'll start here with this one. And, yeah, you know what? I remember when they did a Human Target TV show?
For like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. It didn't last. I gotta look it up. Let me see how many episodes it got. But they actually did a Human Target TV show.
Was he in it?
That's what I didn't get a chance to look up at. I gotta see.
Because that's the dude from Jessica Jones.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, that's Will Travel.
Oh, it actually got 2 seasons and 25 episodes.
I take it back. I apologize, Human Target. Is it him though?
No, I don't think it is. No, Will Travel. No,
okay,
it's not him.
But that's him from He was in Jessica Jones.
Oh, I completely forgot.
He was Nuke.
Oh, shit, he did not. I know he looked familiar, but I just didn't. It didn't register with me, yo. For some
reason, he's playing such a different character.
Oh my god, so different. Like, because in Jessica Jones, like, I don't know, maybe it's because he was fucking nuts and shit. But he
felt bigger. Like,
no, he did. He felt like.
I guess next to Ollie and next to Diggle, he doesn't look as big.
Yeah, maybe that's it, yo. Diggle, they got Diggle on some shit, yo. Yeah, man. So they bring out. I thought it was a nice little thing, and you kind of knew once I knew they were bringing the Human Target. I kind of knew that wasn't Oliver getting shot. So it did take away some of the shock. But what they did to I think what they did a good thing was you didn't know when they made the switch,
right? And
so when you find out that they made like Oliver had done all this shit, and you find out, oh, that wasn't Oliver. Oh, damn, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, like, you know, Chance says, he researches his the person he's going to become, and he does all this, and you realize that what he said to Oliver was right. It's like, yeah, this was all you. I just did what you normally would have done, and I'm like, that made sense, because I was always worried when they made the switch that you would know, that you would, all of a sudden, Oliver would have a completely different personality, right. And I was waiting for that. And when it didn't happen, and then they come back and was like, "Oh no, that was Chance." I was like, "Oh, you know what? That's how you do that, right?" Because this is something we've seen before. We've seen we're gonna replace the hero with somebody else and then fake his own death, right? It's not a new concept. I think we might have even done that on this show.
But I think it's interesting that, like you said, they kind of called their shot by calling the episode Human Target,
right?
Like, we have to twist it because otherwise it becomes way too straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And the subtlety with which they played it was really – because, like you said, you're right. Too many of these times you're like, oh, that's the moment it changed.
Mm-hmm.
Here you're like, wait a second.
Right.
Like, I know they didn't shoot him, but that felt like Ollie.
Right. You mean to tell me when he got the number from the reporter and even, like, talked her down into being more understanding and did all the – and got the and then, you know, basically called the councilman on his bullshit. That's all Oliver. Like, that felt like Oliver. It didn't feel different from Oliver. It right. Felt like if we never had this episode being Human Target and we never had Christopher Chance there, that would have been all. We like that would have made sense. Like I never would have questioned it. And so I thought that was pretty good. And then we find out that he did the same thing for Oliver. You didn't know this. He did the same thing for Oliver back in Russia. Like, oh, okay, that's how you used. I thought that was really well done. Really well.
No,
done.
I agree 100%.
So, also I'll be honest here. I'm a little biased. The biggest news out of this entire episode to me is they finally upgraded Spartan's helmet.
He looks much better. Doesn't look like how do you say Dollar Store Magneto?
Yeah, right.
But even before we get to that, I wanted to say that the little subplot with the crooked councilman, that was like well-written political, like them explaining how gentrification worked and how people profit off of it. I was like, wait a second.
Well, you know what?
What show am I watching?
Well, so I found myself, and I think this is one of the things that this show has suffered from before, is that, and it's something that, you know, Batman comics and being Batman. And you haven't played the Telltale Batman game yet, have you?
I know, was episode 3's out now?
Yeah.
I haven't played episode 3 yet.
Okay. Like, I think that's one of the few times when they've made Bruce Wayne kind of interesting. The problem that ties into Arrow in that sometimes you're always just waiting for Oliver to be Green Arrow again, right? Because after season 2, Oliver Queen hasn't really had anything to do. And so by making him mayor and not making him like in season 1 when they were trying to get him more involved in Queen Consolidated, and he was kind of just using it as an instrument at that point and didn't really want to do it. Here, he actually kind of wants to be mayor and is actually doing things. Like, he's actually trying to work on initiatives. He's trying to make meetings, and he's trying to do all this stuff. It actually makes Oliver Queen necessary and interesting because you're now giving him something to do outside of just being the Green Arrow, you know?
Right.
And I think that's a great thing to do. Like you said, that little subplot with, you know, first the councilman calling out Oliver and Thea on, hey, your family, you know, built all these buildings and did all this stuff before. I don't trust you. And then them coming back later on and being like, well, actually, you know, you're kind of doing the same thing here. And that's why you don't want to sign this paperwork. Like, again, like you said, it's a very interesting political subplot they put there that makes Oliver necessary. And it keeps Thea something, because Thea being speedy was always fun, but Thea for the longest time had a better arc and was way more interesting when she wasn't just a sidekick walking around with Oliver. She was running the club. She was doing all this other stuff. So I like the aspect of it. And part of me thinks that the end goal of this might be eventually Thea becoming mayor. Because
we talked about that before. I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think that her arc's been really interesting because she's gone from that flighty kid to someone who basically is running a city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and when you think about how far she's come, Thea is an amazing character, and I love it, and I can't wait to see more and what they do with her arc and what they do with her. So, yeah, I've been liking, and I think that's what's made this season so good to me is that this stuff matters, you know. Having Diggle talk to Renee, you know, I thought that was another interesting and good part because they both needed that. You know, they both needed basically to talk things out, and it's nice to see Diggle back on the team, you know, and more and not just being like, and Diggle basically when he's talking to Renee, he basically is giving us what we used to get when he talked to Oliver. And now, while it makes it so that Oliver doesn't have to be the only mentor on the team, especially when he's not really good at it. Like, he's gotten better at it.
Yeah, right.
But Diggle is that guy. He's always been
a teacher.
Right. Exactly. He's the one that's always done that. He's the one that would call Oliver on his shit and wouldn't just stand by and do it. He's the one that keep up. And you can see that. I love that moment when Evelyn sees him out there. She's like, oh, man, Spartan's such a badass, right? Because this is the first time they've ever seen. This is the first time they've ever seen him in the field, right? And I gotta apologize to Renee from last week. I forgot Diggle does use guns. Diggle be shooting the fuck out of people, yo.
Yeah, I forgot that too.
Yeah, my bad, Renee. I'm sorry. You're right. Not a plot hole. Not something like that. Diggle be. Now I think that sometimes Diggle does be like firing to wound and shit like that. And I don't think Renee be doing that, but Diggle be using guns, yo. Diggle be using guns.
Yep. I was surprised with the ruthlessness of this team that he left Church alive.
I'm not that shocked that he did that because I felt like, I mean, I think that I think Oliver to the point is this, and I think this is how they've made it separate from Batman. I think if pushed and he needs to, he'll kill.
Right.
But I don't think that this at this moment he needed to. And I think that he is trying. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. But I get what you're saying though. And I guess that's one of the things that just stick out to me because Church did know his identity, and we've seen Oliver kill people for identity.
Hell, like the dude in the first episode was like,
right.
You can't tell me what I am.
Right. I didn't get it like unless they kind of went with the whole human target thing and like, well, he's in two places at once. I don't know how they didn't really explain that, but I mean, I understand why he wouldn't, but at the same time, it's like, well, he does know who you are, so that's kind of weird. What else was there? There was, just the brutality of this episode.
Yo, they worked over Wild Dogs.
Good God, man. I love the thing they used to do what they did. Well, they used to do it to Tobias Church. They ain't going to do it now. But it's that whole thing where all you see is like his bloody knuckles with the way they shoot those scenes with his bloody knuckles with the brass knuckles on and stuff like that. Like that shit is just brutal looking. And you're just like, God damn, man. They beat the fuck out of Renee. And I love the fact that you think that Renee has been the tough guy and hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
And you think that he held out, and you're like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. Oliver came and got him. Renee did what he needed to do, didn't say anything. He got his ass beat. Good for Renee. And then he goes, yeah, man, I didn't mean it. I'm like, oh, man, he broke. Again.
I like that they never showed him breaking, but he's like, oh, I broke.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that, again, between that and the human target thing, I think basically what they did was they did two known tropes that you've seen, and I think the things you've seen in this show before, but they did them in ways that would throw you off so that you didn't know they had happened. And yeah, man, I like that. I like the fact that, and this goes back to the whole theme of they're going back to what made season 1 and season 2 work, but they're changing it just enough so that it makes sense and that it's new and different to you. So. Absolutely. I was 100% on board with that. And I enjoyed that. I like what they're doing with that. Another thing that I kind of want, and I know this is gonna upset some of the shippers out there, I kind of want them to keep Oliver and Felicity apart. I mean, I know that's not something that we're supposed to say, but I think it would be nice to not try to force them back together again. I don't know.
Say it again. Sorry.
I said I kind of don't want them to put Oliver and Felicity back together.
Yeah, but we know something's up with her boyfriend, right?
Oh, of course. It has to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't trust that motherfucker. I don't trust them niggas over there. Yeah, no, of course. Of course something's up with him. I don't trust him whatsoever. But even still, I kind of don't want... Because I don't know... You know what it is? When you put two characters together, you really tie them together, and you kind of hamper what kind of stories you can tell. So I kind of don't want them to put them back together, and
right.
It'd be nice to go back to seeing Oliver exploring other relationships and things like that outside of the cave. It'd be nice to see Felicity doing her own things and not having to be tied directly to Oliver. I think that makes the show. That's where the show is better. Like having to focus on Felicity and Oliver and having to deal with that. Like I don't know, man. I kind of just don't want to see that shit. So. We'll see. Like,
I see that a lot.
I know people are not going to be thrilled about that, but yeah, I kind of think that we can get away with not having them together with that. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this episode before we actually get to Prometheus killing everybody.
Everybody.
Like he killed everybody. Like everybody. Like you open the bank. Like when they pan out and you see how many people died, you're like. Wait, did he have an army with him? Oh, this was just one man? Oliver, I see why Oliver needs a team now. That makes sense. Yeah.
Who was that vigilante?
Which one?
The one who was working with
Church. The one with Church. I have no idea.
Did they ever say his name?
They never said his name.
Huh.
Yeah, they never said who that was.
And he gets put down by Chance.
was he? I don't know if he was he killed or was he just shot and put? You know, I don't know. They never.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You know, no idea who that guy was. But interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he whipped Church's ass.
Oh, Oliver?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like the second he was focused, he's like, all right, fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not a physical threat for me.
Yeah. No, this is not what we're going to do. And I love the fact that the recruits are still getting their asses whooped, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, because again, it just shows you how much work they got to go to and where they're at. I mean, they're not as bad as Laurel when she started off, but, you know, they need work. And they need to keep working. And Yep, I'm completely fine with that. And then you get Oliver coming in, and Oliver again. Technically, Renee has lost to Church once, and I'll be generous and give him a tie for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of a loss.
It was close enough to a loss. I'm gonna count it as a loss.
Right. I mean, like I said, I was being generous. All right. So, but then Oliver comes in, and Oliver just is like, no.
That shit ended so quickly.
Right. It's just like, and like you said, you just got to remember, you got to, you remember who the boss is, yeah. Remember who the boss is.
Which makes me interested on this Prometheus backstory because we've established that in this universe, it goes Ollie and the rest of y'all right behind it.
Mm-hmm. And then Prometheus comes in here and has literally taken out an entire...
By the way, I don't know who directed this episode. There's a lot of great shots, like the stuff with Renee in the beginning, and the shot of them in the van listening to people die.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
that's a great shot.
Oh yeah. That was it's terrifying, but it was a great shot. Yeah, like I don't know what it is about this season, but like I feel like the cinematography and the way they've been shooting scenes has really gone back to the. I keep saying going back to the basics. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this every episode, but it just feels more like season 1 and 2, and that's a good thing. It's a really, really good thing.
You know what season 1 and 2 felt like?
What?
The best parts of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got a cop drama that just happens to have a bat person in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this feels like they've done that with Arrow and really kind of successfully pulled off using those cliches and those tropes, but in new, fresh ways.
Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, and if you think about the larger theme of this, and this is why I think it should come full circle and why it should feel familiar but still be different. Think about it. In season 1, season 1 and 2, I forgot, wasn't Oliver's mom running for mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was running for mayor. She's her and her family were part of holding back the city anyway, and part of the reason why the city got destroyed. They were part of the undertaking. And here you have season 5. Where is Oliver and Thea literally trying to bring the city back? I mean, it's kind of what Bruce is doing in the Telltale Game, where they kind of have all this reveal about the Wayne family, and Bruce is trying to kind of correct some of the wrongs there. I mean, it's a very intriguing thing, and I think it's the reason why if you feel it coming into being so much like season 1 and 2, the reason for that is it should, because Thea and Oliver are kind of trying to make amends there. So, yeah. Yeah, and then your boy Prometheus,
Look, dude, we've had problems in the show before. This is a very quiet problem, but they're doing a very good job of making him a very real threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like the look of fear on Church's eyes, like, yo, you should have flown me.
I want not only that, but Church, you give up the information after you get a promise.
Dog, I was like, how about y'all make an agreement before you never negotiate anything ever?
Right. You don't give the information up first, Don't. Yeah, come on, man. Let's not do this, So good. So I was man, don't do that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this inevitable Oliver, because you know what, it's gotta. I'm interested in it because what are they really going to do? How are they going to change it so it doesn't feel like a Malcolm Merlin versus Oliver type deal? What and why is this? Why is Prometheus going after Oliver so hard? Like, it's gonna be. I need to see this, and I think they'll be
and I like
aware.
how they're tying it back to the flashbacks,
Yes.
which, by the way, continue to be fun as hell.
Yes.
And him, and then was that Adrian Chase selling him out?
You talking about the reporter?
Yeah.
I don't think she was selling him out. I think she was trying to get information. So she hasn't sold him out yet.
But she knows.
She knows he was in Russia, yeah. When he's supposed to be in. But so it'll be interesting because Oliver's going to call her. They're obviously going to try to start some kind of relationship there. It's going to be interesting seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing what goes on with that. So, let's see. Yeah,
and it's really good that they're pointing out like the whole he wasn't on the island the whole time.
And for most of the you could argue he wasn't on the island.
No, we talked about that last week. But we know that. But the story he's always come with is that I was on the island.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So can't wait to see what they do with that, man. So all right, you got anything else you want to say about Arrow?
No, I'm really continue to be pleasantly surprised by the season, and we'll see what happens next.
Yep. All right. So let's go over to Legend of Tomorrow. Wait, did I just close that? Oh, hold on. I have it open. Legend of Tomorrow. Season 2, Episode 4, Abominations. The Legends find themselves fighting for the survival against Confederate zombies in the Civil War. All right. So before I start this, I just want to say, when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, this might be one of those episodes again where you go and do something, doesn't really tie to the main plot, and I don't really give a shit about. I really thought that because, honestly, the promos for it didn't show a lot. And I was just like, they're not going to address race. I'm going to say something that I didn't think I'd ever say. I think Legend of Tomorrow won the week out of all the CW shows. I think
This was it.
You might never hear me say that again. All right? I'm telling you right now, I will probably never say that again. I'm not including Supergirl because I didn't see this week's Supergirl yet, or last week's Supergirl yet. But out of Flash, Arrow, and then Legend of Tomorrow, out of the three, Legend of Tomorrow put together the best episode. Not saying those other ones were bad or anything like that. I enjoyed them immensely. Yeah. But, dog, maybe because my expectations were so low, maybe because I wasn't expecting anything from this episode, but I watched this shit and I was like, wait a minute, they're going there. They're actually... I had to go and check to see if the director was black. He's not. But I was just like, did they really... before we get into talking about this episode, Shanna actually wrote in about this episode. Let me see if I can find that. Have that right here. She said, hey, fellas, did they not do it? Even when it bordered on cheesy, Negro spirituals, this episode was still so good. They totally went there with all the slavery and race stuff and managed to make Confederate zombies a realistic thing. Yeah, right. We had zombies, actually. My favorite line was when Jax introduced himself and dude said, those are a lot of slave owners you're named after. I died. Do y'all ever think Legends would give us some of the tightest writing of all the superhero shows? By the way, we all need to be getting paid royalties. Everyone is stealing our ideas. Can't wait to hear the podcast. Yeah, you're right. Everybody's stealing our ideas. But I am totally shocked that this was the winner of the week for me. But I'm glad, man. I'm glad that this show is being the show we thought it would be last season. This episode was just a lot of fun. And it was...
it wasn't just fun. It was fun and it was balanced.
Right. It had some real serious moments. It dealt with and I think we might have talked about this a couple times last season where, you're going back in time and you have a black kid and he's the youngest person on the team. If you don't address race at some point, you fucking up. And they did, and they did it greatly. I loved the conversations he kind of had at the beginning episode and the end with Stein. And I love when he basically says, "Look, man, I've been black all my life."
That was so real.
I mean, dude, I wanted to dap my screen up, yo. I was like, some real shit, nigga. That's some real shit right there, yo. You real shit right there for that. But it's true. You know, if like you said, if like what time period he's gonna have, is he gonna be able to go back to when him being the color of his skin isn't gonna be some kind of a fucking problem? You know,
and all you can do is nod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I literally have in my notes right now. Who wrote this episode? I had to find.
Well, it's something we always joke about with black characters in time travel shows, and they flat out address it.
Yeah, and
they even address the sexism of he's not going to listen to you because you're a woman.
Oh yeah, even though she's the most qualified person there, obviously,
by far.
Like, I love when Nate and Grant were over there looking at the map trying to figure out like a strategy. She's behind them throwing knives. He looks at her like, "What are you?" It's like, it helps me think.
Sarah Lance for president.
Oh God, Captain Sarah Lance, yo, I'm here for it, yo. And I love the fact that she got and jumping to the end. I love the fact that Grant basically told me you're his captain, and basically gave her some solid advice on being a leader. And it wasn't about, oh well, you're a woman, so I'll give you. No, it was literally just solid leadership advice from general to another leader of a bunch of people. That is some real shit. I thought that was done really, really well.
She got a pep talk from Ulysses S. Grant. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. You know, and then I love the aspect of them going down, and there is one of the runners, the black runner, and he ends up getting killed, and Jackson's like, no, we got to go. I got to go do this. You know, it's got to be us. And the reason why it's got to be us is because we're black and we'll blend in and nobody will notice us. They'll think we're invisible. Right? And just everything about that, it was real. It was still grounded in CW, and they had this lighthearted moment, but it also had the real moments. Like when him and Amaya show up and the slave is about to get whipped. He's like, yo, we can't interfere. We can't do anything. You know, and then later on, him finding out that fuck all of that, we're gonna do something. You know, I can't just stand by and basically
you watch him evolve on it.
Right. You know, even though like he was right as a time traveler, he probably really shouldn't have done it. But then in the back of my mind, I'm going, but you guys have fucked up so many other things in time, Jax. Why not? Why not free some slaves?
Why would you draw the line now?
Yeah, why not free some slaves? Why not? And you know, the only thing that made this episode better is if he had that conversation with some of the other legends. If somebody was like, oh, but Jax, you shouldn't have done that because that would have that would change history, and then been like when Ray lost his suit, or when you guys just killed, you know, the leader of a dynasty in Japan last episode. Are you talking about just like that? But I can't free some of my own people. And this is like you said, this. I love that how the title of the episode is called Abominations, but it's not really talking about the zombies.
Right.
It's more talking about, you know, slavery.
That's exactly what it's talking about.
And yo, man, that was just this was a black ass fucking episode, man. Like I wasn't prepared.
I didn't expect it on a Sunday morning. I'm gonna tell you that right
I just did not prepare. I did not know. I wasn't prepared for them to do that, and I am very happy that they went there, and I think because you can't go back to that time period and not address that. I mean, even down to that when Jax bumps into a white woman and accidentally, you know, just does a normal thing.
Yeah, but we consider polite as hell.
It's considered polite, and basically gets locked up and beat for it and told, you know, he gets basically treated that way, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, and we know that even though that happened, he got off lightly. Like, that's the thing that stuck home. Like, they put all this stuff in there, and even then, they toned it down so much more than what it was really like. And it still was horrible. I like Shannon shit. I'm not gonna lie. The Negro spiritual singing was a little bit over the top.
It's corny shit, but
I'll allow it. No. Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the other plot lines.
Oh, wait, before we do that,
the capers of
Ray. before we do that, I just want to bring up the fact that I love the touch of one of the slaves recognizing Amaya's token.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that was another great little touch, subtle touch that like I normally don't associate Legend of Tomorrow with nice little subtleties like that, but this episode it did it all. So anyway,
I also really enjoyed him saying he would just stay and watch it burn for a few more minutes.
Oh, dude,
really enjoying this,
dude. Man.
And I understand why you'd have zombies. You couldn't just have it be slave masters because whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a little. I wish they'd gone all the way and just had them fight slave masters. But if I can get a zombie biting the throat out of a slave master once a week on television, I'd be all for it.
As Jackson the slave just looked at.
If you give us a gun, we can help. I ain't give you no gun. Bam, you're dead. I was
right.
Like, oh,
help me.
Gratification.
Yeah.
Immediate gratification. They didn't make me wait at all. I appreciated that television.
Right. Because I'm going to lie. I was on some, oh my God, if we make this into a teachable moment where the slave master ends up,
Groves the person.
Yeah. Teams up with Jax and the other slave. And they work together. And he goes, I'm going to promise to let my slave. I was like, please don't do. Oh, they're not going to do that. Oh, we're not going to. Oh, he's going to get. Oh, he got bit. Oh, he's dead. Okay, cool. I'm cool with this. Yeah. No, I was totally on board after that moment. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
Ray and Heatwave and special guest star Michael Professor Stein trying to cure zombieism. I loved it when they first showed up. Like that was just one of those like little touches of humor that I think they overplayed in the promo because it made me nervous about this episode. Mm-hmm. But don't say it. Like them not wanting to say zombie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. I love the fact that the man of science has such an irrational. Maybe it's not irrational.
Right,
it is a rational thing in this episode, but it has such a fear of zombies. Like, this is Professor Stein. This is a man who thinks everything has to be about science and it's so rational about everything else. But zombies are literally his, like, he locks up and like he turned into a crying baby. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that shit was amazing, yo. She was fucking amazing. And seeing Ray struggle to try to figure out his place in the team now. They didn't have a suit. It's all really good.
How do you feel about Ray getting the cold gun?
He's not going to keep it.
Oh, of course not. We're working our ways to shrinking Ray.
Yeah. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because he's not going to be able to keep. Yeah, we'll go one episode with him having. Yeah, I was more along the lines of taking it as Mick opening up and wanting him to be a partner.
Right.
And there's another one. I love the evolution of Mick. I also love the beginning when he fried up when they gave him the okay to fry up the pod, and then Stein goes, "Don't you think?" He's like, "What else?" He's like, Stein's like, "Don't you think that's enough incineration for one day?" No, I do not. Yeah, but
okay,
I love that.
Can you agree that Ray should be Ted Cord?
Yeah, the way they're doing
like the bumbling insecurity and like, oh, I'm just so useless without my suit, and like, hey guys, great job saving that courier. Like, did you see the rest? No, I went to the bathroom. What happened? Like zombies attacked Ray, you idiot.
I can't believe he did that. So I'm wondering if at one point he won't go back in time and meet Ted Cord and then get the idea. Yeah, I'm wondering. You think that could happen?
Well, that was one of the things is that apparently it was supposed to be Ted Cord on Arrow, and they couldn't get permission, so they used Ray Palmer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe, that makes sense.
I like it. It's fine. It's just, and I hate to be that nerd, but I didn't feel like my Ted Cord. Mm-hmm. He was like super smart and always like 2 steps ahead. Mm-hmm. Like he's not always active Justice League, but when they have science questions, they don't go to Ray Palmer. Mm-hmm. When Batman has questions about science, he asks Ray Palmer. This is not the man I'm watching on television.
No, he is not that at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he needs a confidence boost, man.
So I bet shrinking would help.
Right.
If you ever want to win an argument about zombies, dropping a still living head on someone's desk is a great way to do it.
Well, here's the thing. This thing doesn't, again, it goes without. We can't understate this. she let the men talk, and I was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go. You guys stay right here, and if I'm not back, you have my permission to shoot him. So Sarah goes out, finds a zombie horde, cuts off the head of one of them, then comes back and is like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a bunch of them about a mile away from here. So that means Sarah went on and took on a zombie horde by herself. All right, and cut off
left with a head.
Left with a head.
And traveled a mile there and a mile back.
Right. All right. I just in a dress. All right. I just want to, just so we know what Sarah. Just in case you like when they make Sarah Lances a badass, that sometimes they don't even like they don't really address it. Like you just see and you're like, wait a minute, did she just really just do that? Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Amazing. And I love the fact that she's captain. You know? So. Man, this was a great episode, man. Such a great episode. Anything else you want to say about this?
No, I think that this show has really found its stride. I'm a little nervous for when they start going back to the larger story. Because while all the episodes have tied to it, they've all been diversions. Like this one, a time pirate left his ship because he got overrun by zombies and crashed, and that's how they ended up there. Mm-hmm. But it's a diversion from the main thing. They're not chasing our man. There was no reverse flash sighting. This wasn't a source of like a heist through time. This was just like, shit, there are zombies. We should probably deal with this. Mm-hmm. It's kind of them being time firefighters, when in reality the show is about them being time cops.
Right.
And while I appreciate them putting out a good fire in the most entertaining way possible, they're going to have to build to that larger narrative. And one of the weaknesses and strengths of season 1 is it opened up with a stated mission.
Right.
That sometimes it allowed the show to maintain focus, and other times it allowed the show to become too rigid in the storytelling. Mm-hmm. This time, I can't tell you. Because the warning at the end of the last season was, don't go to 1942. Well, they've done that shit.
Right.
And they survived.
Oh, that makes it another good thing. So we know a little more about Barry Allen's message, something to do with the war coming. Do you think this is something that he's warning them about, something that will be tied into the four show crossover?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
I think this is how we get Vincent Garber singing on The Flash.
Yeah. Okay.
Be mad if you want to. Hate Joy. That's fine.
I am not mad. I just don't care.
That's not true either.
I don't. I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna be thrilled about it.
Okay.
I mean, listen, as long as the Flash is gonna be the Flash, and I'll struggle through it. All right, I will.
Struggle.
I will struggle through.
Singing Joe West is disappointing in you.
For an entire episode, yeah.
I'm not saying that. Oh, I don't want the whole thing to be them singing. I want there to be like 3 or 4 big musical set pieces and be done with it. They shouldn't be talk singing. That's where I draw the line.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm just saying. We'll see how it goes. No, but I agree with you on the overall plot. This is one of the shows that we know what their overall plot is, but they spent the least amount of time on it in a way. But it's still been good, and I don't have the same worries I did season 1. So that's always a good sign. Always a good sign. All right, last thing before we get out of here, I didn't talk to you about this, but I feel like we are obligated to bring this up. Wonder Woman trailer came out, man.
I haven't seen it.
No, you didn't. You just said no.
I mean, I knew it came out. I haven't chosen to spend the time to watch it yet. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, the trailer is good.
Okay.
Trailer's good. I love that. At this point, I love the fact that the movie is so bright. And I know that just seems such a small thing, but it's at one point there's a shot of like a Wonder Woman looking over like a cliff and it's brilliant. The colors are brilliant. It's something that we haven't seen in any of the other DC movies. Is brilliant colors, you know. And so I think that looks great. I think I'm gonna say this: when they originally did a first teaser for it, it was not this bright. So I think they listened on that. But that's about all. I mean, and again, it looks like it's gonna, it could possibly be good, but I just have no faith.
And I think that's the best place to be. The most honest place to be is they've given you no reason to have faith.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, and look, I want, because I said this, I was like, I have no faith in this, and I'm like, this movie comes out in between Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Spider-Man, and I'm sorry, but this movie, up until that point, this movie has to be the best comic book movie of the year. It has to be better than Logan. It has to be better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It has to be better than Spider-Man. It just does. If it's not, like, people are not going to be that enthused and excited for Justice League. You know, and I hate to put that onto a film, you know, the first major solo female character movie, but it has to be that because DC has fucked up so many other things. You know, it just has to be. It can't just be an okay film. It can't just be decent. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if this Wonder Woman film is just decent? If it just gets 65%.
I can't imagine it being anything besides.
You know? That's a fucking problem. This is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. It should make $1 billion. I think the first weekend, it's going to make a lot of money. But if those reviews are not good and word of mouth is not good, you're going to see the same thing happen with Batman vs. Superman. It made a lot of money its first weekend, and then the drop off because the word of mouth was that it was a terrible movie. Just come on, it's just not. You can't. It can't do that.
All right, we're gonna bring up two things right now. I'm not trying to make this go too long. First one, reshoots were announced today for Wonder Woman.
You say what now?
A round of reshoots were just announced for Wonder Woman.
Well, and I'm fine with that. Like that's almost
Me too.
Every film has reshoots, so that doesn't bother me that much. I think that they need to just make sure they say that, hey, these were planned. They were always going to be reshoots. I'm fine with that. The movie doesn't come out until, you know, it's not like Suicide Squad where the movie comes out in August and the reshoots I think were like in March.
Right.
You know, and I'm fine with that. You know.
Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to bring up. The second thing I wanted to bring up was the Warner Brothers, the Batman script reports.
Yeah, the people are trying to walk back now, but the cat's already in the bag.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's already out there. Yeah, no. Yep.
Is it over?
Is what over?
Is it over? Like, if this is out there, like, who's going to see this movie in good faith now?
Well, that's the thing. So with Batman I think is what, 2019, right?
Yeah, but it's not even about Batman. It's the attitudes that were expressed in the rest of the quotes.
Oh no, you're right. But what I'm saying is the later movies can survive if Wonder Woman is great and Justice League is great. But again, if what is said in these pieces about the attitudes in Warner Brothers and what the execs are doing, there's no hope for those two films either. It doesn't matter if your director's good, which is now, you know what? I've actually come to the point where I'm actually glad that Rick Famuyiga decided not to do the film. I'm actually ecstatic that he's not doing the Flash film. Because I think that I don't trust Warner Brothers to trust and to leave a director's film alone. Look what they did. Look what they did to Air. They ruined. I mean, again, we'll never know. But all intents and purposes, it sounds like his cut of the film was better than the cut of the film that Warner Brothers forced him to make.
You shouldn't be developing movies that have multiple cuts. Have you ever seen a Marvel movie say, oh yeah, there's 45 minutes of stuff that we wish we could have showed you?
Like, and it's a completely different movie. Like, there's two different, tonally different Suicide Squad cuts out there. That is a problem, and that is a problem with the studio. And, you know, I just don't have it in me to hope that Wonder Woman's good. You know, I don't expect it to be. If it is, great. If I'm wrong, awesome. But I have no expectations of it doing that. And I fully expect there to be really great trailers for this and for Justice League.
Oh, they should be able to finally cut a good trailer. Because guess what? The Batman vs. Superman trailer, it wasn't a good trailer. Mm-hmm. Like I said that when it happened. I was like, this is not a good trailer. People were excited because they made it real, but that wasn't a good trailer. The Suicide Squad trailer was only good because it was such a departure from whatever the hell they shot.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, Wonder Woman's put out 2 good trailers. I'm
excited. I will watch the show today.
Yeah, no, it's a really good trailer. I just have no faith in. Your trailer's not enough. You got to show me. I'm sorry, but you got to show me. You got to show me.
That's 100% fair, I think. And they haven't shown you. And I'm sorry. I'm going to watch this trailer. I will probably tweet out some thoughts, but this is not me co-signing or believing in this movie.
All right.
You got to earn it back from him. Sorry, they've lost me.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to what, I think it was, I guess it was Rod on the Nerd Off on Friday. He was like, man, I feel bad for Gal Gadot. Because, everybody was shitting on her as being cast as Wonder Woman. I was like, hey, give her a chance. She might be good at this. We don't have enough of a body of work from her to know. And you know what? Everything I've seen, especially in the trailers I've seen so far, she is Wonder Woman. She is great. I am now definitely afraid that the studio is not going to treat her well enough and treat her movies well enough to make them work. And that is a shame because she's done a really great job so far from what I've seen as Wonder Woman. So, yeah. And then on a positive note, looks like Doctor Strange is going to open at $85 million.
Nigga.
Listen, all right. This movie is Doctor Strange is so good that I've seen people rightfully say that the whitewashing of the film is unnecessary and then turn around and go, but damn it was a good film. All right? Now listen, all right?
The thing is, it probably wasn't necessary, but as we've all said before, especially specifically about this instance, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Their intention was, that's a racist trope. We need to run from it. And then it looked back and said, oh no, we meant to do something right and we fucked it up. Maybe not worse. I don't think it's worse. I think it'd been worse if they put out like the original depiction of the ancient one out there.
Yeah.
I think that'd have been worse.
Yeah, like when you see the film, you'll see like they did a really good job. And I said this in our review. It would have been, and I can't wait to talk to you about it in the spoiler stuff. This goes back to one of Marvel's weaknesses. They should have had either an Asian director or an Asian person in the writing room just to go, no guys, this is fine. Like, because what they did with the Asian one, it's so much. It's really good. Could have been an Asian. They could have made an Asian man. They could have made it an Asian woman. It would have been fine. And that's really the only bad mark I can give the film because everything else about it is great. I mean, every other problematic thing we talked about in the Doctor Strange character corner, they kind of address really, really well in that, and it's not a big of a problem. But that's the one thing that stands out, and even still, it's still going to make $85 million this weekend on Doctor fucking Strange, yo.
Who apparently is one of Feige's favorite characters. It was like after they did Iron Man, he's like, so when can we do Strange?
That's hilarious.
And they've been telling him no for a while now.
That is hilarious.
And I think this is his fuck you moment. It's the moment in USC Texas when Lindell White threw the ball behind him like, fuck it, I'm Lindell White. This is gonna work out somehow. Except it worked out for Feige because this movie, by all accounts, is a fucking tour de force. Particularly, I've heard that it falls in some of the Marvel traps that we've all discussed, which is fine. It's part a limitation of the form. But I've heard that the visuals alone are like, well, that's an amazing film.
Yeah, no, it's just like I said. Imagine Inception with magic and even more Inception shit. So, yeah, man, it's fucking amazing. So. Yeah, man. Yeah. So there you guys have it. That is our recap of Arrow, Legend Tomorrow, and some DC and Marvel stuff as well thrown in there. We try to do what we can. Again, we are off. I think Supergirl is back on Monday, so you might get a Super Tuesday from Shannon and the Doctor. For us, you won't hear from us if you're not a premium members. If D-Palm sees the movie before Wednesday, we will be doing a Doctor Strange spoiler review. If not, we'll get it up there some other time. And then the following week, Angel Shield is still on break, but Flash will be back. So we'll be back doing a Flash review. But they're also going to do part 1 of the Teen Titans Character Corner as well. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, D-Palm's got the Unanimous Decision podcast. Check that out on the feed. On who you got going on today for you?
I got my running back from college, Rashad. We've got listener questions. We're going to talk about real college experiences for real college football players and try to answer questions that people have about where we stand on the game as it's become, because Rashad recently became a father, and would you let your son play football is no longer It's no longer an exercise for him. Right. It's something that's going to happen.
It's a legit question to ask.
It's something that's going to happen. This is a sport that got us both Ivy League degrees.
Yeah. So check that episode out, guys. You're going to love it. And then Deepon will be on the Insane Chick this weekend to either touchdown dance or it'll be a very somber event.
If he look, okay, so I just if you follow me on Facebook, I just put an article up from Drew McGarry on Deadspin, and it's one of my favorite quotes here is hold on, I just read it. Here you go. This isn't close and it never was. The evidence is right there in front of you. If you care to know this, Donald Trump has never led an aggregate of polls for any significant stretch of time. He hasn't personally raised any money for his campaign in over a month. He lost all 3 debates. He's made virtually no effort to get his voters to the polls, instead relying on a Republican Party that is being badly outspent and reduced to waging repugnant and likely illegal voter suppression efforts that, despite being successful in some small areas, will ultimately turn legions of more voters against them. Mm-hmm.
Listen, dude, I've been watching the talks about the Latino numbers coming out of like Nevada and things like that.
It's so bad. It's so he is further away. He's outside the margin that Romney was outside of in every battleground state. And I need to remind you people, Romney got his ass kicked.
Right, he did.
Romney got his shit kicked in. And this is what's going to happen on Tuesday. And you can find me on Twitter watching Fox laughing my dick off. If Trump TV's up by then, I'll pay for a 1 month subscription. I'll watch the election covered on Trump TV.
So guys, I'm just saying, Saturday's Insane Chick will be fun.
That said, vote.
Yes, please go out and vote.
Go vote. I did it last week.
Yeah, I did it on Tuesday. I did it on Thursday as well. So yeah.
God bless early voting. If you couldn't early vote, that's cool. Get your ass out there and vote.
Yes. I just saw some Reddit thing from it says, "Dear Americans, go vote. Go ahead, vote for the guy. Vote for the guy with a loud voice who hates minorities, threatens to imprison his opponents, doesn't give a fuck about democracy, and claims he alone can fix everything. What could possibly go wrong? Good luck, the people of Germany."
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Oh man. All
the early voting tells you, and I want to hear this. He's fucked. We're about to flush down Cheeto Hitler with a stirring recommendation of not just him, but the Republican Party that gave him to us, and let the 9th be the beginning of a better America, where we don't pretend to cater to these psychopaths. Republican Party, if you get rid of the racism, you can probably flip 30-40% of black people. Mm-hmm. Just get rid of the racism.
Yeah, but
this has been a 18-month CAT scan.
All right.
We found the tumor in your party.
It's called racism. But beyond that, it's not like it's spread throughout the party. We found a way to not just to take all the different parts of racism and collect them in one, let's just call it a basket, to steal a phrase. You dump these racists in the basket and you excise the tumor. Then we can get back to the not so simple task of running a country of immigrants and doing what's best for the most. And that takes sets of ideas that are opposing to find the best ideas. But we can't take it seriously as long as you're lugging around the big bucket of racists. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you guys have it, guys. Again, like I said, Saturday.
I'll see you guys on the Insanity Check next week. I'm very excited.
All right, folks. Again, Super Tuesday recap on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and mtrnetwork.net. Send us an email if you want to get in contact and let us know. So, until next time, we're out of here. Peace.